Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, August 11th, 2014. For roll call, let the roll show that all members are present with the exception of Councilwoman Makowski.
She's excused.
So noted. And tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A clerk's report, 6B treasurer's report, 7 public comment, 8 unfinished business, 9 new business, 10 communication, 11A warrant 14-15, 11B warrant 14-15E, and number 12 adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for approval of the agenda as presented. Mr. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Cho?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, agenda approved.
2A, approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held August 4th, 2014.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Cho, for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held August 4th. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Cho?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
2B, approval of the minutes from the special meetings held on August 4th, 2014. At 6 p.m., there was a study session regarding the city policies and procedures, and at 7 o'clock p.m., there was a study session regarding the Romulus scorecard.
So moved for August 4th at 6 p.m. and August 4th at 7 p.m. the minutes.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the minutes from the special meeting, August the 4th, 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. study session. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Cho?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 3, petitioner. Tonight, Mr. Chair and Council, we have 3 petitioners on the agenda. The first petitioner is Charles Sherrill, and if he can come up to the podium, residing at 930 Shook Road. He's here to request a no-fee permit for Elmer Johnson Park on September 13th, 2014, from noon until 10 p.m. For the Romulus High School class of 1994 reunion.
Okay.
Council, Mayor,
Good evening.
thank you. The class decided that they thought EJ's Park, since it's open now, would be a great destination for our class picnic. We did the banquet, the dinner, dance, and all that, and our picnic got rained out, so they decided to do it at EJ's. So I come before you. I think it'd be neat if all the classes started to go this route and support our parks that the administration's worked so hard to open up, and I thought it would be neat to do it. We don't have a budget. We're going to ask everybody to bring their own. We just wanted the facilities to be used and support our own city.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, so they can have their reunion, the class of 1994.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for Charles Sherrill to have his class reunion, 1994. Any discussion?
Yes.
We could make comments, but we won't.
Go ahead.
Chuck, are you ready for this?
I'm ready as ever.
All right, hold it, Abdo. Go ahead.
I'm just glad that you're bringing the class to Romulus and that we are able to help. It's just nice to see the classes come back to where they started.
Yes, we were the first graduating class out of the gymnasium.
That I know.
Yeah, so it's neat to keep it here, and I wish we had the banquet here, but we had,
You know, we might be able to arrange a tour of the building too.
there you go, that'd be
Get with
nice.
me and we can see if we can do, maybe they'd like to see the building, you know. It's been a while.
For sure, yes.
Mr. Wadsworth, you
One
have
other comment, you'll make sure the park is clean when you leave at 10 o'clock, or you'll be back there on, or you'll be back there on Monday morning picking it up.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
For sure.
Yes, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Okay, 3B, C 2014-009/010, special land use request. This is from Apex Structural Innovation Outdoor Storage located at 14011 Harrison. And we have here as a presenter this evening is Brandon Haddock.
Council, Mayor, thank you for having me. I'm here on behalf of Apex Structural Innovation, requesting a special use permit for outdoor storage. Both the co-founders are sorry that they were unable to be here today, but I believe, as explained before, they're both currently employed and are just not ready at this moment to disclose their personal contact information.
Any questions? Discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Hanna didn't come in front of us, but there was another gentleman who came in front of the planning commission on June 16th. And we only had one neighbor that came and had some concerns about the side door being open and the noise and whatever, and they've agreed to make sure they use it for only emergencies, emergency access door, and, you know, keep the noise down on that side of the building. They're not gonna be hanging out over there. And the neighbors really appreciated that. And also, the only other thing, a couple of things, was the gravel surface, and after looking over all that, you've agreed to level that all out and take care, and the dust control.
Yep.
And keep the dust down. And the other thing was, there was a lot of improvements outside, as far as the landscaping, and the fence was fixed, and the new lawns and for the outdoor storage. But Planning Commission was real happy to see you
know.
come, and
I know Apex is very excited as well.
so we're ready. We're ready for you to get going over there. And, but that's all I have to say. But welcome.
I didn't catch the first part of what you said, that these two individuals didn't want to come and disclose something.
Well, they're currently employed by someone else in the industry right now, and at this moment, they're not ready to
All right.
have that
But
be
the,
public
but
knowledge.
the planning commission
The
had no
planning- as far as I'm
difficulty with that,
concerned.
did they?
No, no.
Oh, all right, fine. Okay, fine.
Okay, you had anything else? Any other comment, discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would be willing to grant a special land use request for PC 20,014-009/010 for Apex Structural Innovation Outdoor Storage at 14011 Harrison Road.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for PC-2014-009/010, special land use request, Apex Structural Innovation Outdoor Storage at the address of 14011 Harrison. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
3C, we have another special land use request for PC 2014-011/012. This special land use request is coming from HD Supply Storage Yard, number 2, located at 38000 JK Drive. I'm not sure who the representative is, if they're here.
Steve
Okay.
Sorensen is the representative. You've seen him before, and you'll recognize him as soon as he walks in. He's stuck in traffic with the rain. I just got a message from him, so he's respectfully requesting that you put him to the end of the agenda when he gets here.
Sure.
He is on his way. He's en route.
Okay, when he come, we'll bring him back up.
Mr. Chair, can we just put him under old business when we
Sure.
get to that part?
Okay,
Okay.
that'd be good.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Do you need a motion
No, we're gonna wait for,
authorizing moving him to the, further down the agenda?
oh, okay, yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll be willing to make that motion that we permit the moving further down the agenda for PC 2014-011/012.
Okay.
Support.
There's a motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for moving the agenda down to the agenda at a different time. Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
All right, that concludes the petitioner section on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Chair, Clerk. The rain is so much, I'm still getting over this flood.
Okay.
My car almost got flooded out. My neighbor's car got flooded out. And I'm on pins and needles. I hope my daughter's car don't get flooded out. But if so, they can use mine, put gas in it. Okay. Well, first of all, there was no special meetings today. And I have a couple of things I'd like to read off. At this time, I would like for Pastor Bob Hopper to come up to and address the council.
Mayor, council, how's everyone tonight?
Good evening.
I'm here to request a no-fee permit for a yard sale that Romulus Wesleyan Church is having this week, as a matter of fact, 14th, 15th, and 16th, which is a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. It's our third annual yard sale, and the proceeds go to purchasing a Gleaner's food truck so we can feed some of the people in the community. On average, we've fed 450 families in the past with the money we've raised from that.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion to give the Westland Church a no-fee permit for the yard sale for the 14th, 15th, and 16th this week.
Support.
Harry, you have to run to your wife, not away from her. That way you won't fall down.
I'm trying though.
Pray for
I'm trying
mercy.
better.
It's
Love you.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Kraut, for a no-fee permit. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I say one thing to
Sure.
Pastor Harper? Thank you for the great grass cutting at the cemetery.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad everybody's
Looks
happy.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Also, I have a list I'd like to read. I get requests to remind people each month this hazardous waste collection is available. Household hazardous waste collection sponsored by the Wayne County Department of Public Services will be Saturday, August the 16th at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Westland Shopping Center, and you will enter off of Natkin Boulevard from Central City Parkway. The lot is behind J.C. Penney's store. I'll just read a couple examples what you can bring. It's household paints, stains, dyes, floor wax, floor care products, carpet cleaner, furniture polish, bathroom cleaners, stain removers, solvents, nail polish, glue, fertilizer, lawn and garden chemicals, pesticides, antifreeze, motor oil, gasoline, automobile batteries, dry cell batteries, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, computers, CPUs, monitors, printers, scanners, keyboards, mice, cell phones, fax machine, copier, and televisions. And again, the telephone number, if you have any questions, is area code 734-326-3936. Again, the number is area code 734-326-3936, and that's August the 16th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Next, it's kind of like people that like fish, fried fish. The 50th family reunion will be at the Coleman Center. It's the 50th golden year for the Hamilton, Summers, Rosario Barton family reunion. That's Friday, August the 15th at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Coleman Center. And the menu is either catfish, tilapia, whitening. They will deliver if it's 10 or more orders, but if you can go down if you want to the Coleman Center. It includes spaghetti, coleslaw, bread, and cake, and it's really good fish. I went there last year, and it really had a big crowd, and it really had a really good time for a good cause. Thank you. With that, that concludes the chairman's report.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
To make a
Ms.
motion that we approve the chairperson's report.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Abdo? Chair votes yes. Motion approved, and thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, council, clerk, and audience. Quote I brought tonight is from Lee Iacocca, and it goes as this: start with good people, lay out the rules, communicate with your employees, motivate them and reward them. If you do all these things effectively, you can't miss. I brought that quote because I wanted to talk about a couple employees tonight. As council knows, we had a recognition service for employees earlier in the year. Since then, we've rolled out, we call it Employee of the Month, and there's different categories for it, and I'm very happy tonight in 2 of the different categories to announce the winners for this last month. We have under Labor and Trades, and this was selected by other workers throughout the city based on going above and beyond, was Scott Haydenack. So congratulations, Scott, for that good work. And also under Clerical Administration, we had Jenny Goodell was selected as the Person of the Month. So if we could, Mr. Chairman, maybe get a resolution recognizing those 2, we'll pass that on. Along with that, they do get some recognition, and their photos will also be put up in a framed area here in City Hall.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
We do them on individual basis, or?
We'll do individual resolutions. You could do it as one motion if you prefer, and then
But
we
you'll
can just
make
do
it
separate.
individual,
Yeah,
okay,
we'll do
fine.
individuals.
Okay, it's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Choate,
Yes.
for resolution, and what was those names again, Mayor?
Scott Haydenack
Scott
and Virginia Goodell
Virginia Goodell.
for the 2 different categories, and we'll make sure they get those resolutions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. A couple other things on the employee side. We have a couple important dates between now and our next meeting. Just wanted to give some shout outs. The 15th is Councilwoman Abdo's birthday. Happy birthday, Kathy. And then the day right after that, the 16th, I know she's not here, but our treasurer Stacy Page's birthday. So happy birthday, a couple nice ladies, and hope you have a great event. Actually, I'd like to ask council for some action on this one. We have Jesse Charles, who spent 15 years at the senior center, is retiring officially. So if council would possibly do a resolution for him also, we'll make sure he gets the proper resolution and thank him for his years of service.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
Ms.
would like
Roscoe.
to make that motion for Jesse Charles for a resolution for his retirement.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Kraut, for Jesse Child's retirement. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next, on the employee side also, I just wanted to give a Shout out to all those. Saturday, we had our employee picnic at Elmer Johnson Park, newly opened. This was an event for all city employees, all departments. I'll get you the list of names of the people that were on the committee that volunteered. There were too many of them. There were also some people that sponsored it, corporate sponsors. But it was a great day, beautiful day. Park was in good shape. There were activities, really creative what some of the employees came up with. There were kids' activities. Kids had obstacle courses and, tug of war with a rope, and they had things for adults that were good activities. So just a great time had by all, and thanks to all the employees that came out. And if you missed it, please try to come out next year. It's a great event. Just had a fantastic time. Some other things, just current events I do want to go over, and I have Roberto here to address two things. One, many of you probably got emails and calls like I did over the weekend about some things regarding the Wayne County Drain Commission. People were put on notice about Wayne County drains, what they're doing, their redistricting and so forth. Unfortunately, the city got the same notice that the employees got. We didn't have any advance notice, so we were reacting to a lot of calls and emails today. Roberto did talk to Wayne County today, and I wanted him to come up and talk a little bit about what that letter means and what it doesn't mean, and there's some frequently asked questions that he can address, and more importantly, it is a county drain issue, so we can help direct people to the county, to the right people, but it wasn't a city initiative. It wasn't something that we knew about nor had any hand in. So, Roberto, could you kind of talk a little bit about what we found out today? And
absolutely,
for the people at
Council,
home?
Mayor, good evening. There was a letter sent out by the county drain commissioner to about 6,000 residents throughout Wayne County. And essentially what the county is doing is they were alerting the residents to the fact that they were going to review land boundaries and the drainage district to verify if there's any parcels that should be added or deleted to the drainage boundary. And essentially what that means is if there's a homeowner that's added to the drainage district, in the future sometime, he might actually have an assessment. So the letter's pretty detailed, and it has a back page which has questions and answers to it. And the format of the letter reads that there's a special day of review for district boundaries where residents would actually have the ability to go and talk to the county about the districts and whether their parcel falls in and out, and if so, get the information behind it. There's also another day, and it's inside the letter, a date, which is the appropriation. So in other words, once the county has determined who's added and deleted, they're going to give that person a percentage split based on the size of their property once it falls in that drainage district, that if a fee were to come up, what their appropriation would be towards that fee. So that's about the limited information we have on it. There's a 1-800 number that the county has added, and they have a technician that's answering any questions that the residents may have, but the city didn't receive any notification. We don't have a list of parcels that would be added or a list of parcels that would be deleted. Each individual homeowner was sent a letter, so the residents themselves would know who's been added or deleted to the boundaries.
A question?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I can, Roberta,
Yep.
this drain starts about 300 feet just west of my home on Barth Road, and it runs south.
Okay.
And I've been there for 34 years. I've never seen them work on that drain at all. In fact, if you look in the drain, you barely can walk in it.
Right.
Are they talking about doing any work in these drains?
No, they're not
Or
talking.
just, what they're
this
talking about is trying to
they're-
put more
they're
people
laying
on the
down-
tax rolls?
Right, they're laying down the groundwork, should they decide to do any drain maintenance or a special assessment in any of the drains throughout Romulus or actually throughout Wayne County. So what they're doing right now is they're trying to figure out who's in the drainage district and who's out of it. And typically, if there is a problem with a drain, like you said, where your home is, if you ever to see any backups or you see logs and log jams and things of that nature, once they're alerted to it, they come out and they do an assessment, then it turns into a drain hearing, and there's kind of a process that they take. I'm not that familiar with it, but I know there's a process behind it.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Willie.
And I just wanted to reiterate that too. There is a process. There were concerns that residents thought that letter meant that, they were going to have a special assessment. That's not the case.
No, that's
They're
not the case.
redistricting. Now, if they do impact landowners that put them in a district that would cause a special assessment, they still have to go through that process, which
Absolutely.
I don't know all the details, but I know there are public hearings, there's notification, they have to tell you how much the assessment is, so, you know, I guess to the residents, you know, call that number. If you have problems with that, we can try to help, but it's a county drain issue. It does not mean you're getting reassessed or going to have any reassessment. But if you get additional correspondence, you know, you may want to pay attention to that as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything else, Roberto?
John, just one more question if I could. Is somebody from our city going to attend this meeting? There's a meeting on
We can-
the
we can-
18th of August. I think
Right,
somebody
we
from your
can
department
send
should
somebody
go.
to it. Initially, we just got the letter and the notification. Actually, I just received this letter actually today.
It's next week is the meeting.
Right,
on
yeah,
the
we can
18th.
send somebody to it.
Okay.
That way
I
we
think
have
we
kind of a
should.
pulse on the issue ourselves at DPW.
Back and tell us what.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Roberto. While you're here, can you give an update on Goddard
Absolutely.
Road too?
Yep.
Because I know there's a lot going on. They
Yep,
started some
Goddard-
paving today before the rain came, but
Yep, Goddard Road is proceeding along on schedule. Thus far with Stage 2, and if you remember, the orders of the stages were kind of mixed up due to the fact that we rebid it out. But Stage 2 is going along smoothly. We're actually ahead of schedule. We have the Wayne Road intersection for that quadrant of the intersection almost built out. We did have some rain today, and they did pour some concrete, so we'll have to see that the pavement hasn't been impacted. But so far, we've added our water main to the project. We've got the south side of the road pulled out, and we're going to be moving along Goddard Road, prepping the grade and pavement behind that. So things are moving along quickly.
Thank you,
John, I have
Roberto.
one more question if I can ask him.
Go ahead,
At the corner, and we talked about this, the corner of North Line and Huron River Drive, there's a big sign that says Goddard Road Detour.
Yep.
A lot of people feel that sign should be further up in town so people don't totally miss downtown.
Right.
And your answer was to me earlier tonight that
It's for truck traffic.
you're going to put that on there for truck
Yeah,
traffic.
absolutely. We'll put a placard on there that indicates it's for truck traffic. So we want to keep the heart of downtown fed with traffic and commerce into the business district. So that's not our intention, is to limit access to downtown. So we'll put a placard on there that indicates it's for truck traffic.
Fine, thank you.
also with the construction downtown, you'll see that later this week some more business signage to help the businesses in that area that feel that they were not, customers weren't clear how to get to them, so those are in process. As the road project changes, we'll try to adjust and make sure that we're letting people know that the businesses downtown are open. Please support them, and we'll try to keep communication going on the road project. Anything else on that, Roberto?
No, that's
Okay,
it.
thank you. A couple other things to make mention of, just FYI that are coming up. We've been talking about the Romulus Farmers Market that went really well last week. We had Kirksville's vegetable stand there. They had a lot of produce, fresh produce that was moving. There were handmade jewelry, ice cream, other produce vendors as well, baked goods, coffee and tea, also vendor. There was a kind of a vendor that had like mixes, waffle mixes, trail mixes. There's also a lemonade stand. There were some canned like pickles and things that another vendor had. There's art. The big one that's getting a lot of attention is the Rib King, hot barbecue food. That's going to be coming. He's got barbecue ribs, chicken, sides. This is the Rib King from Van Born Road in Romulus. It's going to be there. The market, remember, is Wednesdays from 11 to 4, right in front of the court. Please come out and support it. Like I said, probably had our best event yet last week, so that'll continue to go on. So just don't forget about the market. They're trying it different because it was, as you recall, downtown in the historic pavilion, so they wanted to bring it out away from the downtown and the construction area. Couple other things that I do need. One, I actually wanted to ask for a closure. We have a request from the Romulus Community Baptist Church for a road closure on August 30th. Their church is holding their annual picnic at 6200 4th Street in Romulus. This event is open to all residents, all city residents, to come out, have fellowship with one another. There will be food, fun, and games for all ages. They do use the Boise Park along the kind of the easement there along the church parking. So what they'd like to be able to do is have the road closed off at 4th Street in Colorado, just at the end of the church parking lot. that'll only be closed just during the picnic from about 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. This is an annual event for the church, and the church would appreciate council's closing of that road.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms.
I'll
Roscoe.
make that motion for, to allow them to close the road there at 4th Street in Colorado on August 30th,
Support.
from 9 to 5.
Been motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Kraut, for road closure from 9 to 5 p.m. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council, and we'll coordinate that with public safety and DPW also. Couple other things real quick. This week, if you're a resident coming in or employees, or you notice me tonight, a little bit casual, wearing jeans tonight, and there's a reason for that. We are participating this week in allowing employees that typically would want to do their Friday donation to Goodfellows all this week. Any employees that want to donate towards the, it's basically a juvenile diabetes foundation. We have a young lady in our community, Allie Frederick, who is kind of sponsoring a big fundraising event to help that nonprofit. Diabetes, especially for youth, is just, it's a lifelong event for them, and it's quite an ordeal. This young lady that I know, she wears the insulin pump, and she has to be diligent about what she eats and when she eats. And so this foundation does a lot of good work that helps a lot of kids. I felt it was a good cause, so please, this week, if you want to give to that cause, we're collecting here at City Hall, and all donations will be turned in Friday and will be given to the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. So just want to pass that on. If you see people in jeans around City Hall, it's because they have a big heart, not because they didn't get their dress pants out. Some other things coming up. I do need to request some action from council for our next council meeting, which would be, the 25th, Alan? We have our, I am going to need to have a study session at 6:45 for the purpose of talking about some parks, some things we have going on in parks I want to roll out to council. So if council would so move for a study session for 6:45.
So move for a study section on the 25th at 6:45 per the mayor.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for a study session. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. And along those same lines with parks, my good news is this evening, and I want to invite council and our residents to what's known as Fernandez Park, or as I learned today is called the Big Park, is what some people refer to it as. We've been working hard in that park. We've been working hard with our workers, our DPW workers, our court workers. What we're planning to do is this Thursday, the 14th at 6 p.m., have kind of a reopening, rededication of that park. So I would appreciate it if you would spread the word. We basically have done a lot of improvements there, from the basketball courts to the pavilion to general cleanup and trimming and cutting and trying to make it safe. The basketball courts were resurfaced. It's a nice park. It's a beautiful park. I've watched the progress the last couple weeks, and very happy to announce that we're going to open another park. Again, no new tax dollars. Doing it within the budget creatively, but a lot of people put a lot of hard work into this, and I think it's exciting for our residents to have more parks. We're going to continue to work on parks, as I'm going to talk about at the next meeting, but please come out this Thursday if you can. Just a short program, and we'll rededicate the park. So that is coming up this Thursday. Council. For my normal business meeting, I just have a couple quick items to cover for you. First one up is 5A. We have before you is a request to award bid 14/15-01. That's for the concrete road repairs, which include repairs to Brant Street, to the lowest bidder, 4E Enterprises, in the amount of $189,052.50. And as council's aware, those were dollars that we allocated in the local street construction project account.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Ms. Abdo?
I'll make the motion to award bid 14/15-01 for concrete road repairs, which includes repairs to Brant Street, to the lowest bidder, Fior Enterprises, in the amount of $189,052.50.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to award bid 14/15-01 for concrete road repairs, which includes repairs to Branch Street to the lowest bidder, Quarry Enterprises, in the amount of $189,052.50.
And just under discussion, that's part of Brant Road. Obviously, it's not the whole road. We're trying to tackle the toughest parts first. We'll continue to work on Brant Road, but it really needs repair, and it was one of the worst in our city.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item for action is 5B. What you have is a request to amend the city council resolution 14-285 and authorize the closing of Goddard Road from Wayne Road. And this route basically was the light parade route needed to be changed due to the construction. So as what you see in the motion is that we're basically going down Bibbins and then going to cut across and try to avoid some of that eastern section of Goddard Road that's still going to be under construction. And this, by the way, did go through the Rotary, who sponsors it, which is going to be on September 19th. Same time, starting here, but just a little different route. Still going to be enjoyable, still going to be able to have a nice...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I'd like to make the motion that we amend Council Resolution 14-285 to read as follows: to authorize the closing of Goddard Road from Wayne Road to Grant, the Bibbins Street from Wayne Road to Shook Road, and Shook Road from Bibbins Street to Goddard Road, beginning at 7 p.m. on Friday, September 19th, 2014, and ending at 10 p.m. Friday, September 19th, for the Rotary Parade of Lights.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to amend the City Council Resolution 14-285 to read as follows: to authorize the closing of Goddard Road from Wayne Road to Grant Road, Bivens Street from Wayne Road to Shook Road, and Shook Road from Bivens Street to Goddard Road, beginning at 7 p.m. on Friday, September the 19th, 2014, ending at 10 p.m. Friday, September 19th, for the Rotary Parade of Lights. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I just wonder, is there any way we can notify the residents in writing on Bibbins, on the, the side streets that we're using?
Sure, we can do that.
I just thought it
We can
might,
get 'em
I
on.
know some may not watch council meetings, but if we
Right.
could, we're using what,
We should
Bibbins?
probably advertise that even a couple weeks before the light parade, just to remind people, because whenever you have a change in route, they're,
All right, and I just thought it'd be nice to do to the residents so they can be prepared. All right,
we can do that.
Okay. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
yes,
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
And the other item's just item of information. That concludes my report. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report under 6A1 for second reading and final adoption of Part 2, the Romulus Code, or the Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Sections 1 through 15, General Penalty, and this ordinance was introduced at the August 4th, 2014 council meeting.
Mr. Chair,
It's Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion for second reading, final adoption of Part 2, Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Sections 1 through 15, General Penalty. Oh, got that out.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Choate, for second reading, final adoption of Part 2, Romulus Ordinance, Chapter 1, General Provision, Section 1 through 15, General Penalty. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
yes,
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2, amendments to the city fee schedule that was adopted on June 23rd, 2014 by resolution number 14251. City Council approved resolution number 2014-005 on July 28th, 2014, to approve second reading of Romulus Code of Ordinance, Chapter 54, Section 54-185, to provide that council may, by resolution, from time to time, establish fees for applications for land splits. Therefore, a resolution is needed to establish the assessor's fees for land land splits as highlighted on the amended fee schedule that was presented to you. Also, the Department of Public Safety will assess a $50 per tow administration fee to be paid to the City of Romulus by individual tow companies on a monthly basis. Billing will be the responsibility of the City of Romulus Department of Public Safety, and also an amendment to the Planning Department. They added land split use to a section in their fee schedule. So what it is, council, is that from the original fee schedule that you approved, there were some amendments. As you recall, with the assessors, we had to withdraw that until the ordinance was amended for those land splits. So what we're presenting to you are just little amendments as time has gone, you know, from the last time, from the time from that you adopted the resolution till now. As we continue to work through our fee schedule, we find little things that needed to be added to the fee schedule. So we're doing, at this time, all those, you know, there were 3 departments that needed to have amendments. 2 departments needed amendments, and 1 was for the assessor's office, if that makes sense.
Mr.
I know it was a
Chairman,
mouthful.
also just to clarify that the admin for the tows, that's non-resident only,
Okay.
that we charge that.
Oh, okay, thank
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms.
I
Choate?
would be willing to make the motion that we grant second reading and final adoption to the Romulus Code of Ordinance, Chapter 54, Section 54-185, which would provide for council for the resolution from time to time to establish fees for applications for land splits in accordance with the assessor's fee, and that also to include Department of Public Safety will assess the $50 per tow administrative fee to be paid to the City of Romulus from those individual tow companies.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for amendments to the city fee schedule that was adopted on June 23rd by resolution numbers 14 through 51. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Discussion?
Yes.
Do discussion first. Thanks. Included in here is a $50 fee that we have talked about, the towing administrative fee. I just want to make it very clear that my vote does not at all reflect my satisfaction with how this has been handled. I still want to voice my displeasure with the administration and their decision to add a 3rd towing company that is an outside towing company. Although the company is located in the airport, they pay no taxes to the City of Romulus. By adding this 3rd company, we have hurt one of the companies that is currently a tax-paying company in the City of Romulus. I disagree with it, and I know that I've said this, and I'm like over and over, but I still wanted to let people know that's where I stand.
Mr. Barton?
Yes, Mr. Roscoe.
Got 2 things to ask. First of all, I agree 100% with Mrs. Abdul just read, and I'll let that go, and it's behind us. My question would be to the Chief of Police. Can you explain it's the prisoners' housing costs? Who actually pays the $3 for the blanket? The prisoner? So if you lock him up and it's cold and he doesn't have $3, you don't get a blanket? Is that what? Or he's just billed for it is what he,
Yeah, that's how it works. Basically, it's
I
just
mean,
a-
if he
there's
doesn't
a
have
fee that's
$3 in his pocket,
correct, we're still going to make sure that they're cared for appropriately, but that would be something that would be assessed and we bill to them upon their departure from the PD.
and if they, on departure from the PD, they can't be released before they pay John, is that?
Well, no, they'd be billed and
They'd be
then.
billed for it.
Yeah, they'd be billed for it.
And if they're not prosecuted, are they still billed for it? Is my question.
Yes.
Yes, okay, fine. I just wanted to explain it. Thank you.
Yep, okay.
Any other comments? Any other discussion?
Mr. Barton, you know, I was listening to Kathy Abdul, and I agree 100% with her, and with Bill Wasser too, you know. I'm really not for it, you know.
Roll call vote. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes,
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
That concludes the agenda items. For your information, we've provided some information regarding a liquor license, addition to stockholders that we've provided for you. Information there, it's for your information. Before I close, I would just like to thank everyone who helped out with the election last Tuesday. And this was a very challenging election, but I just want to thank DPW for being there, all of the election workers, all the support from the administration, my staff in the clerk's office. Everyone pitched in to help, and it's greatly appreciated, and it really does take a team effort in order for elections to run smoothly as best as possible. There's always hiccups, but again, we just want to thank everyone who came out, volunteered their time, and again, to the DPW, because they did a great job on the signs and making sure that everything was out. So again, thank you. And with that, that will conclude the clerk's report. 6B is the treasurer's report, and our treasurer is, keep her in your prayers. She's still on vacation, and we're hoping that she's not stranded in Hawaii, because we've seen the weather reports and things. Of course, that wouldn't be a bad place to be stranded under the circumstances, but keep her in your prayers. And with that, number 7 is public comment.
Madam Chairman, before we have public comment, would you go over some of the rules that we have in public comment?
Sure. We have rules that have been adopted by our city council, and they are printed on the back of the agendas, in which we have those available every week for the public. And so there are about 9 rules that, again, that were adopted by council. I'm just going to read a few of them as it relates to public comment. The third item says, of individuals that would like to address city council under the public comment portion of the agenda must raise their hand, and when recognized by the chair, the person shall approach the microphone and state their name and address. Number 4, remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes, subject to being extended an additional 3 minutes by consent of the chair. There shall be no personal attacks. Remarks shall not contain any profanity, racial, ethnic, religious, sexual, or national origin slurs or overtones. Anyone making such remarks shall lose his or her right to address the city council, board, or commission. Number 5, no person shall be permitted to address the group or any item more than once at any one meeting without the approval of a majority of the quorum present. Number 6, all of the foregoing does not apply to a person previously granted a hearing at the meeting in question. Number 7, this rule does not permit members of the public to join in debate or discussion with petitioners, members of the body, or with other members of the public present at such meeting. Number 8, once a motion is on the floor, discussion from the public shall no longer be permitted on that agenda item. And number 9, the public may make a request to the chairperson of the council on a form provided by the clerk to be added to the agenda of a future council meeting to address a subject that council would have authority to address. If the chairperson denies the request may be made to the entire council under the public comment section of the council's agenda. If the request is granted by a majority of the council, it will be added as an agenda item at the next regular meeting of the city council. And with that being said, we do have one written request.
Okay.
And that's James and Regina Smith. And if you are here, would you please approach the podium and state your name and your address? Thank you. Well, we have your address, but still, thank you.
Good afternoon.
This is James.
Speak in the microphone.
Speak directly, it's kind of directional.
Okay.
But-
We're here to, because we've been having issues in our neighborhood with the a group of teenagers who seem to want to litter, and disturb the peace. And we wanted to know if we could have some recourse with this, such as, does Romulus offer, I guess it would be like a public nuisance or loitering law, or someone, because they're out every day like clockwork, like they're on a job. They start at 9:30 in the morning. They end this around, well, sometimes 3. They end at 3 in the morning. They're out.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to
Yeah,
speak on?
Mr. Chairman, what we could do, we'd be happy to, if we could maybe get your information and put you in contact with public safety. We do have ordinances in place, and
Okay.
if there are any particulars you can share with us, we'd be happy to
There.
try to help you with that.
Okay,
If you- John, you can see that.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, thanks for coming
Mr.
forward.
Barton,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
what part of the city are you, what street are you
Oh,
on?
we're on Forestdale, Forestdale and Isabel.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Mr.
have
Barton?
Director Leacher make contact.
This is the same area we had a family come to us 2 weeks ago, I
Right.
believe. And I wondered if we had any follow-up on that. I know I had asked to have a report on that, and I haven't received anything. It was the same, I mean, she was on Forestdale, and Isabel, one of your neighbors had come to us. And if we have been there, have we done anything?
That was one of the follow-up items that Captain Shelby had, and I haven't gotten a report back on that. I don't know if Director Leacher, you've heard anything on that particular report or not, but
If, Ms. Abdo, if what you're referring to is the meeting that I wasn't present
Right,
at.
you were absent.
Then there have been citizen complaints that have been hand-delivered to each resident that was at that meeting. We're either going through the process or waiting for those to be filled out and returned to us.
Hey, can I get a report back on that? Because I promised to him when I check in on it.
Sure.
And Regina, can I have your address on Forestdale? I believe the other woman was right on the corner there. Are you on the corner? Yes, I am. I was thinking it was a woman on the other corner that had, what was her name again? I'm not sure either, that's why.
Mr. Chairman, we'll make sure all the council gets a report back
Right,
on
thank
on
you.
that.
Yep.
And as well as an account of
Just
what
a-
happens with this particular request.
Right, we are working on this together. It's a concern of all council members. So we are working together, and we want to get this information to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and Council, that was the only written request that we had. So at this point, if there is anyone in the audience that would like to address council, please raise your hand. And again, after you've been acknowledged by our chairperson, approach the podium and please state your name and address.
Yes, Ms. Lemon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk, audience. Whenever I get a letter when it talks about cost, I panic. Roberto, when you go to this, he's leaving me.
He's right there.
Okay. It sounds like we should attend this meeting. The residents should attend this meeting. By reading this letter, do you think that's necessary, Mayor? Is that a necessary thing?
I received a letter at home, and I'm not planning to attend the meeting.
Okay.
I do plan to keep contact with the county, and we'll have a representative there. But they sent out 6,000 letters. I don't think they can accommodate half of that, Jan, if they decide to show up, so. But it is a county issue. When they do the redistricting, it may impact a few people, it may not. But they mentioned, I think they tried to mention a lot of things in that letter. Unfortunately, they did mention cost, and that got a lot of attention. But as Roberto reported, it's not necessarily going to be a cost issue for many people.
Okay. On a second note, I do not want to embarrass Pastor Bob. But Pastor Bob, I talk to your workers when they're in the cemetery. They are gentle, they are kind, they're considerate in the job they're doing. And Mayor and Council, this man is doing a fabulous job now in that cemetery. When people bid on this job, they just think, oh, it's a mow. We'll go out there and we'll buzz through this and mow. You have to be so careful of the monuments and the respect and the dignity. And I now believe the cemetery is getting that. And Pastor Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments? Okay, we will close that part out, Madam Clerk.
Okay, unfinished business, and earlier in the meeting, council moved to move one of the petitioner items, item 3C, to the unfinished business, and it looks like our petitioner is here, and if you can please come forward. I don't have your name, so I apologize.
Steve Sorensen, Professional Engineering Associates, 2430 Rochester Court, Troy, Michigan. I apologize and appreciate you extending the agenda for me. It was the longest trip from Troy that I've ever had. I-75 was closed, Southfield was closed, and I drove through water over the bottom of the car. So it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. For HD Supply, this is, I think staff has done a very thorough job of explaining and putting it in your packet. But to reiterate, this is not a new special land use, it's an extension or expansion of the special land use that is currently there. A couple of years ago, and even not even finished as far as finaling out the project, there was some millings placed down for approximately 2 acres. And HD Supply has been awarded the contract to supply the lighting for all this Light Detroit project. And so a lot of that material is going to be funneling through here and through this yard, and they needed to expand it to approximately 7 acres. So we are making much better improvements with this rendition of the plan. There are paved asphalt surfaces, heavy-duty asphalt surfaces as far as the main maneuvering lanes, which will provide good access for forklifts and for fire access. We are also providing on-site stormwater detention, where the previously approved plan allowed it to drain into the pond that was along the east side of the property. And that portion of the pond was not actually dedicated for this. So we will be providing stormwater detention in accordance with Wayne County's ordinance and discharging to the drain on Cogswell. They are requesting, and HD Supply has many hundreds of these facilities across the country. They don't survive well if it's all paved with the heavy materials that are stored. They are requesting that it be allowed to be gravel in accordance with their standards, and we are also requesting that the 6-foot required screen wall, masonry screen wall, be waived. And there was a lot of discussion at the Planning Commission. There will be an extra height berm. It'll be 6 feet high along the west side, and the plans were revised to actually extend it a little bit more than what was shown, to address some of the neighbors' concerns as we discussed it at the public hearing. I think that explains most of what I have, and if you've got any questions, I'd be happy. The owner apologizes for not making, he was not as lucky as I was in making it here, but I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Any question, Council?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. F.
I don't really have any questions, but HD Supply, Steve came, the last time we seen him was July 21st, and the Planning Commission went over things really well, and I think you hit all the highlights as to what needed to be done and changed. And we did have several neighbors out that were more concerned about, looking across the street and looking into that area, and I think you did a great job on revising and shifting the trees around you know, and making the berm higher satisfying with what they're looking at and their concerns. And the other thing is with the gravel, you know, you're gonna have dust control, and, which I know the neighbors are gonna appreciate that quite a bit. And, we do appreciate you trudging through and making it here, so you didn't have to reschedule, so you can, get started and get done over there.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Then I'll make a motion to accept special land use request HD Supply Storage Yard number 2 at 380000 JK Drive, PC-2014-011/012.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for PC 2014-011/012, special land use request, HG Supply Storage Yard number 2 at 38,000 JK Drive. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Number 9 is new business.
Mr. Barden.
Yes, Mr.
I've
Wadsworth.
got two things real quick. Number one, during the week of the Pumpkin Festival, obviously there'll be animal shelter bingo Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're always looking for volunteers, for people that want to help. If you want to help, contact me and we'll put you down. It's Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, it's dedicated to Frank Ayers, and everything we take in goes 100% to be used at the shelter. On a different topic, and this is going to go to Mayor Burcroft. Mayor, my wife and I and other people that live in the Barth Road area do a lot of walking around that neighborhood. We go down Barth to Huron River Drive, Pennsylvania, back up Hannah, we come back through the subdivision. The weeds on Pennsylvania, and other neighbors have come to me and brought this to my attention, on Pennsylvania, on the Romulus side from Huron River Drive all the way down to Barth, or all the way to the end, which would be, it's a Hannon Road, are at least 8 feet tall. And then the weeds on the ditch on the north side of Barth going west from my property are about 6 to 8 feet tall. And I think that it needs to be taken care of without a doubt.
Sure. What
Okay.
we'll do is, I know we have some of our crews that have the equipment that
It's
have been doing
been
this.
done in the past. We talked tonight about the Blakely drain. Actually, they start right where the drain goes across Barth Road. The other thing, Barth Road itself, now the DPW has done a fine job on filling the potholes and making it usable to vehicles. But the folks down there says Grant Road is a pretty road to look at. I think everybody understands where I'm coming from on this. But when you walk on Barth Road, there's still cracks in the road that are this wide. And sometimes the people that walk are catching their tennis shoes in there. And so something has to be done about Barth Road. It was originally poured back in 1984, and other than filling the potholes, there's been no and I wish we would take some definite look at doing something down there. I mean, the folks that live in the southwest corner say that, you know, Tobine's a pretty road and Grant Road is beautiful, but they'd like to have some effort down there made.
We'll look at Barth Road. On roads in general for council, we're actually going through a process right now, looking at the Paiser system for how they rate roads structure-wise. We're looking at how it ties into water and sewer that's underneath the road, because that's possible funding. And then also, we take a look at the city work request and complaints for potholes, and we're kind of overlaying all those together, and we're trying to work on some of the ones that have the most need right now. So we're in the process of looking. I agree.
I totally
Barth is one,
understand
but-
that, but Barth Road is a school bus route, and they beat it up all year, and it's good that the school is there for the kids, but I think you have to take a little closer look at the road, because there are cracks that are 4 to 5 inches, and if you're walking on there, your shoe can get stepped in.
We'll look at Barth Road as it ties into that whole plan, for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. Mr. Mayor.
Is there any more new business? If not, number 10 is communication.
Yes, Ms. Roscoe?
Just want to put it out there that there's 2 more Friday nights of music in the park. I apologize for not having the names that are coming this Friday and the following Friday, but they extended it, and been getting a really good turnout out there, which 7 to 9, Friday night in the historical park. 2 more Friday nights to enjoy it, and there's, you can come out there, usually hot dogs, some chips, pop, beverages, so bring your lawn chairs and enjoy it.
Oh, great. All right, thank you, Ms. Roscoe.
11A for approval is warrant 14-15.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate?
I'd like to make the motion that we pay warrant 14-15 in the following amounts. General Operating Fund, $348,472.41. Major Street Fund, $71,604.83. Local Street Fund, $6,460.07. Cable, $1,132. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $126.83. Street lighting, $43,293.39. Sanitation Fund, $83,884.49. 911 is $13,853.18. Narcotics Enforcement Fund, $994.11. Water and Sewer, $606,394.37. Motor Vehicle Fund, $36,419.53. Technology Services, $1,826.58. Retirements Insurance Benefits, $21,806.24. Payroll Fund, $112,433.72, for a grand total of $1,348,701.72.
Support.
In motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to pay warrant number 14-15 for $1,348,701.72. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant 14-15 will be paid.
11B for approval is warrant 14-15E.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms.
I'd
Choate?
like to make the motion that we pay warrant 14-15E. This is payment of the workers who worked last week's election, and that is in the grand total amount of $11,050.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to pay warrant number 14-15-E for our election workers, which I think does a great job all the time in election time. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant 14-15-3 will be paid.
Number 12, adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo? Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.